For us, it was never a matter of proposing demolition of historical houses just so that they can be rebuilt in the same way.
When we talk about green buildings, nowadays it's not only about saving water and energy.
It's about creating the perfect relationship between the people and the spaces.
In the building sector, sustainability has been more focused on the environment than on the economy and the society. Main reason because it can be measured. The problem with sustainability, it has always been described as extreme. You have to push it to the last boundary. For example, when you tell, for example, with the local system GSAS, the highest point in the system is 6 stars. But a lot of people don't know that if you achieve 2 stars, you actually do maybe like 20% better than an average building when it comes to energy performance. This is financially reasonable. At the same time, it's a great target. But nobody tells you this.
I'll tell you other aspects of the environmental things. I have 2 of my family members have an asthma, and 20% of the population in Qatar they having an asthma now. When we talk about green buildings, nowadays it's not only about saving water and energy. It goes beyond that. There are benefits even to the air quality or the quality of indoor quality of your house or your building. So it has an impact.
And with this sustainability concept, thankfully we got to understand that buildings and life, it's not a matter of construction, it's a matter of a life cycle. Probably the construction will be between the 15 or 20% of the time of the real life cycle of the buildings. So that means that when we are aware that the city will last for longer than the construction of the city, or that the building will last for the entire life cycle, not only for the construction, then we will put an entire effort to understand what will be the building, how the building will be. What we do is control, so it's easier from our side to say we are controlling for a better performance, we are controlling to assure quality, we're controlling to guarantee a performance of the building. But from the other parts involved in the process needs to be the same. We need also to teach the people that are more related with business on how to make them understand that this is as well a business, not as a profitable business, but as a life quality business. We are repeating the same problems that some major cities has on the 60s and the 70s of last century, and is that we are developing the cities for the cars. We are developing the cities without thinking on the human scale. There is another thing related to architecture, and is we are creating amazing buildings, incredible structures, but not necessarily related to the reality of Qatar. In terms of tradition, in terms of cultural heritage, in terms of the weather needs. Qatar gives you that impression. It's a very segregated clusters, and it has been just capture some information out from somewhere. Then I've seen this, that it's quite interesting. Let's bring this to Qatar. So anyhow, we'll have to give it time to know what part of those clusters really fit on Qatar reality, and we will see what we were all part of.
Zones 15 and 16 are located within what we call Old Doha. They are within A and B Ring and on both sides of Al Matar Street. Now the two zones are also right next to Zone 4 and 5, which are Asnak and Najada, and they are part of the truly historical parts of Doha. So Zone 15 and 16 are quite important because they are one of the first zones that have been laid out in the 50s, right after the first production of oil. In that sense, what Zone 15 and 16 are, as part of that history, it's quite important that they remain part of the history of Doha in their current state as much as possible. We get attached to our projects always as architects, and especially when there's so much time and effort and involvement with the project. And the proposal that we put forward, they'll come to life at least 5 years, 10 years, and then there will be 20 years and 30 years. So you become very intimately familiar with a piece of the city, and you get attached to it, of course, when you know every single house in 80 hectares, when you know every single street, and you start feeling it, even if you don't live there, you start feeling as if you live there, and you start imagining what you would like that environment to be if you lived there. I feel quite privileged to be working in Qatar and to be working on projects like that, and I feel quite happy to be part of that process. And it's also something that I cannot say that I can do in any other part of the world, because here we're dealing with a very young context. It's very important, it's a great responsibility to put the right ideas forward, to make sure the city grows in the right direction. You know, as if you're planting seeds in a garden, and it's very, very nice to look at and to think of Qatar as this garden where we're planting, and hopefully in a few years we're going to see it absolutely growing and beautiful, and we'll see the fruits of these efforts and of our visions.